I still remember that day like it was yesterday. The sun was streaming through the kitchen window, catching the dust motes dancing in the air. We were having coffee, just like any other Saturday morning for the past 10 years. 10 years, a whole decade of shared moments, inside jokes, and building a life together. And then, she said it, the 4 words that shattered my entire world. I never loved you. It felt like the floor just dropped out from under me. I stared at her, trying to process what she'd just said. Was this a joke, a cruel, twisted prank? But the look in her eyes, it was cold, distant. It was the look of a stranger. 10 years of memories flashed through my mind. Our wedding day, the birth of our children, the vacations, the late-night talks. Were they all a lie? Every I love you, every hug, every shared smile. Was it all just an act? The first few weeks were a blur of confusion and raw pain. I replayed every moment of our life together, searching for clues I might have missed. Was I blind or just naive? I felt like a fool, like the lead in a tragic play who didn't know his lines. Friends and family tried to offer comfort, but their words felt hollow. They'd say things like, "How could she do this?" or "You'll be better off." But all I could think was, how do I move on from a life that was never real? I spent a lot of time just existing. Going through the motions of work, parenting, and daily chores felt like wading through thick mud. The silence in the house was deafening. Every corner held a memory, but now they were all tainted. The laughter we shared in the living room now echoed with emptiness. The spot on the couch where she used to sit felt like a gaping wound. I was drowning in a sea of what-ifs and whys. Why stay for 10 years? Why build a family? The questions consumed me, and there were no easy answers. One day I was looking through old photo albums, torturing myself with images of our supposedly happy life. I saw a picture of us on our honeymoon, young and full of dreams. And for the first time, instead of just feeling the pain of betrayal, I felt a flicker of anger, not just at her but at myself. I had allowed my entire identity to be wrapped up in being her husband. My happiness, my self-worth. It was all tied to her validation. And when she pulled the plug, I was left with nothing. That anger, as uncomfortable as it was a turning point. It was a spark of life in the numb emptiness. I realized I couldn't change the past. I couldn't force her to have loved me, but I could change how I responded to it. I could choose to not let her words define the rest of my life. It was time to stop asking why and start asking what now. What do I want for my future? Who am I, outside of this marriage? So, I started small. I picked up a guitar that had been collecting dust in the corner for years. I started going to the gym, not to get a revenge body, but to channel my frustration into something productive, to feel strong in my own skin again. I reconnected with old friends I had drifted away from over the years, rebuilding my support system, my tribe. It wasn't about erasing the past 10 years, but about building a new future, one that was solely my own. I had to learn to be a single father, to navigate co-parenting and create a new kind of family structure for our kids. It was, and still is, incredibly challenging. There are days when the weight of it all feels crushing, but then I look at my children's faces, and I know I have to keep going. I have to show them what resilience looks like. I have to show them that even when life knocks you down in the most brutal way, you can get back up. This journey has been about rediscovering myself. For a decade, I was we. Now, I'm learning to be I again. And it's terrifying, but it's also liberating. I'm finding joy in things I'd forgotten I loved. I'm learning that my worth isn't determined by someone else's affection, or lack thereof. It comes from within. It comes from the man I see in the mirror each morning who, despite everything, is still standing. I don't know what the future holds. The wound is still there, and maybe a scar will always remain, but it no longer defines me. It's a part of my story, but it is not the whole story. She might have said she never loved me, but I'm learning to love myself, and I'm realizing that's the most important love story of all. If you're going through something similar, know that you are not alone, and there is a path forward, even if you can't see it right now. It starts with one small step. Thank you for listening to my story. It's not an easy one to tell, but I hope that by sharing it, it might help someone else who feels lost. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Let's continue this conversation in the comments. Take care.